Hello and happy Wednesday. Today on the Busy Bride podcast, I am joined with Alexa Truesdell, a newly married bride of about 7 months. She talks in detail about her planning and wedding day experience at Perona Farms, which, side note, is one of my favorite venues, some unconventional and traditional things they did and why she loved them both, and a piece of wisdom that helped her plan a wedding day she absolutely adored. I cannot wait for you to hear from this joy of a human. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the Busy Bride podcast. I'm your host, Gabriella Marie, and I created this podcast to help you research vendors and learn valuable advice as you plan the most special and true to you wedding day of your dreams. Let's get started. Hello, Alexa. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
I'm so excited to chat and talk about your wedding from last fall. It was a beautiful day. I loved every single moment of it, and I want everybody else to hear about it too. So why don't you introduce yourself to listeners, just name, where you got married, general location, and maybe a little fun fact about you.
Okay. My name is Alexa. I got married in September of 2024. So a little over 6 months ago in New Jersey. So in northern New Jersey at in a barn, the barn at Perona Farms.
And it was a beautiful barn. We love it.
It was, and it was a beautiful weather day, which was very helpful as well.
Yes, because we had such bad luck with weather leading up to the wedding.
Yes, I was going to talk about that. My wedding day weather was perfect, so
it was all worth it. Yes, we rescheduled your engagement session like quite a few times, I think, right?
Yeah. And the last day it was a cloud of humidity and rain.
Yeah, like we were inside of a cloud. Like the visibility was
like my hair was on my cheek.
Yes, and there were like little water droplets on your eyelashes.
Yep. Photos somehow miraculously came out great anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we were on the beach for the photos, so I feel like it kind of worked. It gave like moody beach vibes, but also because the beach itself is a very simple background, it was okay that there was a cloud behind you because that was also simple, so it's not like it was a totally different vibe. Yeah. It still worked.
But September weather was perfect, so it was great.
Yes, loved it. I forget, because since it's been a while since we first talked about your wedding. Why did you choose Perona Farms as your wedding?
Yes. Okay. So my now husband and I both come from big Italian New Jersey families. And if you're not familiar, big Italian New Jersey families love to do my big fat Italian wedding with big chandeliers, carpet, ballroom, the whole 9 yards. And we felt like we had been to plenty of those and we want to do something a little bit different. So we still want to stick to New Jersey because we're both from, the same area. David loves the outdoors. We love just like spending time outside with our families. And we thought that the barn was just kind of a happy mix of all of those things. So we loved the outdoor. They had like cocktail hour completely outside or mostly outside, which we really liked. We loved like the kind of rustic vibe, but also we were able to put our own kind of spin on it. So yeah, we went with the barn.
Love that. And I would love for you to tell everybody the story about how you got engaged too, because it's pretty cool.
So not in a barn. We were in Italy the year prior. So we got engaged like a year and a few months before we got married in May. So we were in Italy on a family trip and we were in Portofino, which is a very small port town on the coast of Italy. And we walked up to, I kind of thought it might have been coming just because we had been together for 8 years, and we were in this beautiful magical place together. But we walked up to, we had to like hike. I'm in a dress and my hair is blown out and I'm like trying to look good because I feel like this could possibly happen. But we go to the Castello Brown, which is a castle that overlooks Portofino, the port, and David asked me to marry him and I said yes. And I don't remember anything else that he said. But it was great. It was a lovely night. And we went out for dinner after and there was like Italian singing congratulatory songs to us at dinner, so it was cute. But yeah, it was great. It was just the two of us. We did have a photographer there, a nice little Italian guy took pictures, so that was great to show our family when we got home. But it was nice to just be the two of us.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. So you got the whole family trip, so you got to celebrate with family, but the moment itself was just you two.
Exactly.
Love that. Yay!
Yeah.
So you got engaged in Italy. You got married the next year, rustic barn vibes at Perona Farms with the outdoor cocktail hour and all the things.
Yeah.
How was that time period in planning? Like, what was your wedding planning experience like?
It's funny looking back on it now. So we got engaged the end of May and we got married the following year, very, very early September. So we really had like a year and like 3 months. But for the whole summer after we got back from our trip, I was really gung-ho on just like relishing for a hot second. I just didn't want to like start planning my wedding June 2nd when I got home. So then August rolls around and we're like, well, we need to get married and we need to start planning it. And then all of a sudden, whether you want to be in the New Jersey big ballroom or you don't, everyone's like, oh, you want to get married a year from now? Oh, we have no availability. So there's also, New Jersey East Coasters. There's also that fun piece in the mix. But I would say we probably took about a year to plan. We didn't start until like fall or September of 2023. So I think it was okay. Like I really appreciate that we took a beat. We enjoyed the summer together. We had my parents had an engagement party for us. We I don't know, we just did the newly engaged things. I don't even know what those things were. We just enjoyed our summer. Then we started planning our wedding and I think it was fine. I think the time period was fine. I don't think you need more than a year. Even if you're way more perfectionist than me and have way more details going on, I feel like a year is like, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, from my perspective as a vendor working with all the other vendors you had a pretty solid team together.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was a great day.
Yeah. I think that we also, once we got the venue in place, I did nail my vendors down pretty quickly. Not overnight, pretty quickly. But once you get your vendors down, then I feel like you also still have you have time to pause and think like, what do I really want every detail to look like and stuff.
Yeah. Was there anything that helped you nail your vendors down?
So I will say that Perona, my venue, Perona Farms, was very helpful as far as like, this is the right time to do this. This is the right time to reach out to that. They had a few to reach out to whoever. They had a few different recommended vendors that I did kind of start to dabble with. And honestly, I didn't even get a reply from all of them. So I feel like the biggest takeaway from me was, or the biggest thing that was helpful for me was just to like listen to my gut intuition. Like when I was reaching out to people, I'm a people person. I like to talk to people. And if I didn't get a good vibe from a vendor, like I was like, okay, it's not meant to be. Move on.
Totally. I totally get that because it's a big deal to put your wedding into the hands of somebody else. So you've got to get a good gut feeling and a good trust feeling.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And that's how we do.
Yay. Love that. And it was so much fun talking to you guys too about the whole day. I feel like you guys had a pretty strong vision right from the gun for like what you wanted for your photos and what you wanted the day to look like. Do you want to describe that?
Yeah. So as much as we loved the barn and we were excited to book it, we found a few photos and we had been there and we toured it and we liked it and we were like set on it. We found a few photos that we didn't love so much. Now my husband is into photography, like as his side passion project. And he's like, Lex, you still like the barn. It's just the photos that you're seeing of the barn, the lights like are a little off. Like, I think you just don't like the vibe. It looks like more moody than it is just like bright and airy. And we toured it on like on a sunny, like bright day. So we went down this rabbit hole of finding the right photographer because everyone says, your flowers die and nothing lasts from your wedding other than your photos and your video. So we really want to find the right photographer who could capture like what we saw in the barn. So that's how I found you, and that because I found photos of the barn that you had taken, and David and I were like, wow, we love these photos. These photos look like when we were at the barn. Now, granted, we toured on a sunny day. Your photos were from a sunny day. So I was praying for a sunny day, and the man above helped me out there. But I think that also goes into just like gut feeling. So David wasn't super involved in planning for a lot, but he was interested in the photography piece because one, he also wanted good photos, and two, he understands it. So when we got on the phone with you and David wasn't on really any vendor calls with me except for you, sorry, Gabriella, it was asking questions, some vendors were frankly not super responsive or like probably taken a little bit aback. Now, David is the most innocent human being ever, if you've ever met him.
He is.
He just wants to know about what aperture you're using, which who knows what aperture is, Gabriella, not me. But Gabriella and I and David got off the phone. David and I were like, we're booking her because she could answer David's questions and she like wasn't, didn't take offense to them. And David really just wanted to know like, what's your vibe for the day and how are you going to like make our vision come to life? And she did. She explained it and then she delivered on what she explained.
Thank you so much. That makes me so happy.
And
Because
she
it's,
recommended a videographer who could help us do the same.
yeah. And he's amazing. I love working with him all the time. Two things I want to say there. Number one, it's a big deal hiring a photographer because it's true, like your photos are the things that last for years and
Yeah.
years and years and years down the line. So it is important to like make sure that you feel heard and seen and understood by the person you hire for photography. So I'm glad that happened for you guys. And I don't think I saw like the full video from your videographer. How was it?
Send it over. We loved it. We loved
Yay!
that.
Okay, I definitely want to see it. So send it over after the recording.
I never posted on Instagram, but yeah, they're
That's
great.
fine.
And I also think that like the dynamic between you and Josh throughout the day of the wedding was also great. Like David and I loved hanging out with you guys, and I could see that not necessarily happening, no matter, regardless of who you wind up booking. So
Yeah, because there's a big chunk of the day for formal photos or group portraits or bride and groom portraits where it's basically just you guys, the couple, and then your photographer and videographer. So having a good vibe there just like elevates the experience and makes it more of like a fun part of the day. So I'm glad that was your experience.
yeah.
Yay! Okay, so wedding day. It was a beautiful day beginning to end. The place where you got ready was stunning. Can you tell me how you found that? It was like an Airbnb in like kind of a woodsy area on a gorgeous lake.
Yes. So we both live around like an hour. Our families, our friends, we live around an hour away from the venue. And I just didn't really want to do that drive already and in my dress. I just figured it would be way more fun to get ready with my girls, like very close to the church and also very close to the venue. So hotels up there, slim pickings, not a lot of options. Sorry to my guests who had to go to the hotel and have like 25-minute drive to or bus ride, whatever. The Airbnb, we honestly just happened to like stumble across it in probably a year out. Probably actually before I even booked Perona Farms. And because Airbnb has such a flexible like cancellation policy, I actually snagged it and we didn't exactly know how we were going to make it work because I wanted to get ready with my girls there and I figured photos there would be so beautiful, like photos of me getting ready, photos of me and my girls, and then also my first look with my dad. And I knew I was also going to do a first look with my brother. So I felt like there was going to be a decent amount of photos there and there was so much outdoor space. So what we wound up doing was, again, this was probably like a not conventional thing, but it worked for me as the bride. Like, I feel like it's the one day you get to be selfish, and I think other people totally benefited from it. So, the first night was just girls. Like, all my girls got ready with me, or I'm sorry, all my girls stayed overnight with me after the rehearsal dinner and then got ready with me in the morning. Gabriella and the team took video and photo the morning of the wedding. And then after the wedding, David and I went back together with a bunch of our friends and like family that were, it was co-ed. It was like mixed girls and boys. So it was his friends, my friends. We kicked our family out mostly. So it was really nice. It was a great house. There was so much room. There was so many bathrooms. There was a hot tub outside on the lake. So if you're thinking like, oh, how am I going to make this work? Or if you're wondering like, oh, Alexa and David weren't alone together, the night of their wedding, like we had a beautiful honeymoon for 2.5 weeks after, and we had so many fun memories. It was just like a big, huge after party after the after party. So yeah, the Airbnb was a lot of fun.
I didn't know that you invited all your friends afterwards.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so fun.
yeah,
I haven't heard about that, but it's true. Like, if you want to just extend the after party and hang out with your friends and you know you're going on your honeymoon soon,
yeah.
why
It
not?
was super fun. It was great. Um, and a few of the girls that were there the first night with me, then their boyfriends got to come the second night. So it kind of made everybody happy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. I love that.
Yeah.
Amazing. So you got ready. It was gorgeous. And you did first look with your dad and your brother.
Correct.
Um, how was that? Like seeing your dad and your brother one on one before going to the church to get married?
So it was great. I mean, I feel like I always envisioned my first look with my dad, and I kind of knew how he was going to be. But it was just really special to have like a little bit of time, just my dad and I. And then I also did another like little look with my younger brother and myself outside at that Airbnb, like overlooking the lake. And I made my dad like a custom record with a bunch of inside jokes and like all of our favorite songs. The song that we danced to later that night, but also a bunch of songs that are just like inside jokes for us. So giving him that was super fun as well.
That was so cute. And you had like a whole custom cover with like a picture of you two
Yeah,
on it.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
adorable. I loved that.
Yeah. I want to do something fun because I felt like we were gonna need some little some little joke. So
Yeah. So it wasn't just crying happy tears
yeah,
the whole
yeah,
time.
we're playful like that, so and emotional, right. So, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that was awesome. Hey, hey. I wanted to take a quick pause from today's episode to talk about a brand I absolutely love, Artifact Uprising. If you're in the midst of planning your wedding, you know just how many little details there are to think about. And one thing I always recommend to my couples is investing in beautiful, high quality stationery that truly reflects the style of your big day. And that's where Artifact Uprising comes in. From stunning save the dates to elegant thank you cards to custom photo books filled with your engagement photos that you can use as a guest book at your wedding, Artifact Uprising makes it easy to add a personal touch throughout your wedding journey. And as a photographer, I love the way their designs complement beautiful photos and their paper quality is top notch. So here's a little something just for you. If you use the code Gabriella15 at checkout, you'll get 15% off your order. Whether you're curating the perfect invite suite or putting together a custom guest book, Artifact Uprising has you covered with gorgeous, easy to design options that make your wedding look and feel even more special. So head over to artifactuprising.com, use code Gabriella15, GABRIELLA15 for 15% off and start creating something beautiful today. Now let's get back to today's episode. And then we went straight to the church and got you married. So that was David had a connection to that church growing up, right?
Yes. So the priest, David had a connection to the priest who married us. So the priest was like our local priest and was serendipitously, like super intervention from the man above, transferred to the church that was 3 minutes from our venue, like 3 months before our wedding. So he was actually going to, I don't know if followers are even going to follow this, but he was actually going to wed us anyway and then got transferred to that church. So it was all just like, good omens all around. But yes, we did our like marriage prep with him, and then he was head of the church, or he is head of the church that's like 3 minutes away from Perona Farms. So it was lovely. It was a very long but very meaningful mass.
I do remember that now. It was quite long and there was no air conditioning.
Yes, it was very warm in there.
Yeah,
I was
it
just
was.
nervous, sweating the whole entire day. So yes.
Yeah, but it was beautiful. And I didn't know that he was transferred there so soon before the wedding. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so how was it seeing David walking down the aisle for the first time? Because you guys did not do a first look.
We did not do a first look. We want to go like traditional vibe in that sense. It was great because I saw, and I have one of my favorite pictures ever of him is one that you took of just David, and it's just his like face when I'm walking down the aisle with my dad. It's so sweet. I just want to see his like organic, genuine reaction, and you captured that, so it was great. I mean, I also witnessed it firsthand, but yeah, it was awesome. My dad giving me off to David was like one of my favorite parts of the day. Yeah,
That's amazing. Did he say anything special to you, or was it just like a big monumental moment?
I have no idea. Did you say anything special to me? I don't think so. I don't
Because
think
it's
you
always like a little moment. I always wonder if there's anything
maybe.
like, yeah,
We'll have
okay.
to check the video footage.
Yes,
Call.
then you'll know. Oh, I love that though. Yeah, so when I always bring a second shooter with me to weddings, like standard weddings, and I like to be at the front so I can get you walking down the aisle, and then I go to the groom who's like watching, and I kind of go back and forth and try and get both, and then I have the second shooter getting from behind
Yep.
um
Those are
the
cool
angle.
photos too.
Yeah, because they're cool to have. It's a fun like extra photo to have. But I love getting a close up of the groom's face because I think David had like little tears in his eyes. He didn't cry
Right.
tears, but you could see like the little well up. Yeah, it was so cute.
Which is why he didn't say anything to me, probably.
Probably he was probably holding it all bit
Yep.
all back. Amazing. Yeah, so you got married. It was amazing. And then but we went back to the venue, and there's usually like a gap of time between the end of a Catholic wedding ceremony and then the start of cocktail hour. So we did photos during that time. But we started the photos by doing like private letters to each other. Can you talk about that?
Yes. So this is another amazing idea we got from Gabriella. We were deciding because we had a typical Catholic mass marriage ceremony. We didn't really know if we wanted to write letters, so we had to do the repeat after me traditional Catholic vows. But we also want to write one another something. So at first we were going to just write each other letters and read them the morning of the wedding, but not be together. So we were like, well, that's fine and great, but like we'll never really know how each other reacted to these letters because we won't be together. So when we were talking to Gabriella during our engagement shoot, she said, why don't you guys read them aloud to one another as kind of like a private vow type exchange? So we decided to do that. Now, mind you, we have to read them in front of Gabriella and the videographer. No, I'm just teasing. But that was not only are they probably the best photos from the day or some of the best photos, some of my favorite photos from the day. It was just so meaningful to do it just the two of us, but do it face to face. And we were already married, so we kind of had like a little bit of nerve. I feel like by then we weren't nervous. I felt like the only thing David and I were both nervous about was just like getting through the mass, just like getting through the formalities, doing whatever the priest told us to do and stand where we were supposed to stand. So when we were able to just read our letters and like hold hands or be facing one another, whatever, I think it was really, really meaningful. And it's even more meaningful to have the photos and the video of that because now we can look back on it and be like, oh yeah, I felt this when he said that. So I love that. That was probably both of our favorite part of the day. So totally your advice. Yeah.
That makes me so happy. And I love that you were brought back to how you felt when you look at the pictures too. That's always like the goal.
Yeah.
So that makes me happy. And also, I wasn't listening to whatever you guys were saying. I couldn't hear you. Yeah, couldn't hear you at the time, but also I was more focused on like, okay, how can I capture their faces during this? I'm sure Josh, the videographer, he knows everything you said. Probably doesn't remember it, but he heard it.
Oh, he knows the soundtrack of the video.
Oh, yes. But yeah, so I'm glad that was a big moment for you guys. It was really cool to photograph too, because like even without a Catholic mass with like knowing where to stand and what to do, there is just like nerves associated with getting married just because it's like, okay, we have to do this to get married. So like I have to say I do at the right time and repeat after me. So it's cool to be able to do something like this after the fact is over because it's just there is a big difference I notice in photos before and after a ceremony. Even if it's like you want to get married, like it's something you want to do,
Right.
It's just like weird nerves because it's like so official.
I also think there's a nice element that when we were writing it, we knew we were writing it just for the other person and not for this room of people.
That's
Like
true.
I put inside jokes in, or I put little like more sentimental or more meaningful words that I would have had to like explain if I was reading it aloud to my 170, guests. So I loved that idea. We loved it. Yeah.
Good. That makes me happy. And then we took some more photos elsewhere too, just because it's a beautiful venue with multiple locations for photos. And there's cocktail hour, and you guys got to enjoy like pretty much all of cocktail hour. How was
Yeah.
that?
If you can extend your cocktail hour, I definitely recommend it. We did a 90-minute cocktail hour, and I don't know, we might have missed 20 minutes, Gabriella, but it's totally worth it. It was great. It was fun to just finally like mingle with all the people that have been here and been supporting us and been watching us. Um, Something else that from cocktail hour even into later in the night, I think that Dave and I did a really good job of staying together. So many people give you that advice, like stay with each other so you make the same memories, and I do think we did a pretty good job at doing that. And especially during cocktail hour, I remember we lost one another at one point and we're like running back to find one another. But yeah, cocktail hour was fun. We ate, we drank. I'm not a bride that wasn't going to eat and drink on their wedding day, so I was enjoying during cocktail hour. And yeah,
I remember when the pig roast came out, your
yeah.
face like lit up. You're like, oh my gosh, let's go.
Well, I was at Perona, you were great, but I was actually upset because they were supposed to really have it on the full spit or the full fire pit. So when it actually finally got brought out, I was relieved because we had good weather, we had the barn, and part of that was doing a pig roast for David because it was, one of his special requests. So I was happy that it was in the flesh.
And it looked like it was delicious.
You didn't have any?
I don't think I had any. I was like beep bopping around the whole time.
Pretty good. It was a nice barbecue pulled pork.
Good. Amazing. Love that.
People come up to me and they're like, "You roasted a pig at your wedding?" We did.
Yes.
It was part of the stations of cocktail hour.
I love that. It seemed like a very good cocktail hour, and I did notice that you guys were together for a huge chunk of it, which was really nice to see. So that was cool. And then it was time for reception. And this was in the barn upstairs. So it was like half the barn area was seated tables for all the guests, and then the other half, or I guess a third, was dance floor with a band.
Yep.
So walk me through how you felt during your reception. Like after mingling with everybody, were you finally like relieved to sit down and get a chance to eat? Or did you continue talking because you didn't really have a sweetheart table, you were with other people at a table?
Yeah. So we decided not to do a sweetheart table, and we decided to sit with most of the Airbnb party people, honestly.
Amazing.
Like our good friends and closest family members. I think I was starting to feel a little bit rushed because the venue was like, you have to do this, you have to do this. So I feel like good advice is to just take a beat. Like if you don't get every single solitary thing that like is on your timeline down, it's okay. I think we nixed like a few songs, or we nixed like our I don't know what we wound up nixing, but I think once I got past that and like Dave was like, chill, it's okay, it doesn't really matter, it's all good. Like we did all the important stuff. Then I was full like, let's just party and eat and talk to people. Yeah, the reception was fun. We loved our band. We had like a live music 10-piece band, I think it was, if I recall correctly.
There was a lot of people, yeah.
There was a lot of peeps up there, so we had a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can totally see how that happened though with you feeling rushed, just because when it gets time for reception, the venue or whoever's catering the food, like they're on a really strict timeline to make sure people eat hot food. And
Yep.
so that's like their number one priority. But that's sometime in conflict with the band wants to do an opening set or wants to kind of like MC a little bit. Or the photographer is like, sunset is happening really soon. Do you want to leave and go get pictures? So there's
Well, happen, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different vendors kind of like eyeing for your attention at any certain point. If it like falls that way with sunset and band and dinner and everything like that. So that can happen. Yeah, but we made it happen. We still went out and got some really beautiful sunset portraits. Those are some of my favorites of the day.
Oh yeah, I love
because you changed into your reception dress too, which was really fun.
Actually, that was my fault. I was like, oh, it's going to be so quick to slip my wedding dress off and slip into my new dress. Here I am forgetting that there's 100 buttons that need to be unbuttoned because I'm used to trying it on in my bedroom upstairs by zipping and unzipping it. There's more to the zippers on wedding day. So that was my fault and probably half the reason why I felt stressed. But the sunset photos were awesome. They're like also our favorite photos. Me telling you every photo that you took was our favorite photos, but that's how we feel. But the sunset photos came out so good as well. And the barn in the backyard, the background is just great.
Yeah, it was like, it's just the perfect light at sunset at that barn. Love so much. Okay, was Is there anything that stood out to you on wedding day that you were surprised did? Like anything that was like, "Oh, wow, I actually really that made an impact on my day?"
We talked about the Airbnb already, but I was really happy that we did that afterwards. I was worried, like I said, that after the wedding I was going to be like done with peeps and want to like just chill with David, but it was really nice to have like more time with our good friends and family that we wanted to spend more time with after all was said and done. And like everyone took, we're taking such great care of David and I. And the next morning they ordered us breakfast or we had planned breakfast, whatever. But everyone was just like so gracious and so just happy to be there that I was really happy that we wound up doing the Airbnb and didn't just do the hotel. Just everyone tells you like it goes by so quick and make sure to spend time with one another. And so I kind of knew, like I knew it was going to go by quick. But I was happy. I felt like David and I were together for most of the night and we did a good job at like saying hi to, we honestly probably said hi to everybody, but it wasn't our number one priority. It kind of just happened as well as we were spending time together. So I feel like those were things that I was like surprised by, but also pleasantly surprised by.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I feel like having that extended cocktail hour helped with that because 60 minutes can sometimes feel pretty rushed because the last 15 minutes the venue is getting everybody upstairs for reception. So it's less than what you think it's going to be. So having that 90 minutes it's just stress free and there's food and there's drinks and so like nobody's like waiting on anything. It's just time to chat. So I love
Yeah,
that.
totally.
So, okay, last question for you is a big question, and it's what is your biggest piece of advice for a couple who is getting married? Either like wedding planning advice, wedding day advice, wedding honeymoon advice, anything that you're like, people need to hear this.
Honeymoon advice, tell your husband to plan it.
Did David plan it?
Yeah, David planned every single solitary thing. I'd wake up in the morning and say, babe, should I wear a bathing suit today? Should I wear hiking clothes today? What are we doing today? No, all kidding aside, I would say just trust your gut. Like what I was talking about with finding you, and we did talk to a few different photographers before you, to be completely candid. And we didn't feel good about any of them until we chatted with you. And you helped create the best photos, like, and the best memories from our day were literally your idea. So I would say trust your gut, because if something doesn't really feel right, it might not be. And don't be afraid to do something that like feels different or feels like other people wouldn't do. The Airbnb. We like people were like, "Oh, you're going to do that?" But in the meantime, all of the friends that were invited to the Airbnb were pumped and we all had the best time. So it's okay if your mom's like, "Oh, you want to be in an Airbnb the night before?" Yes, and you're invited and you loved it. Love you, mom. And then the last thing is we took planning seriously, but we also like took it with a grain of salt. So prioritize the things that are important to you, but you can't prioritize everything. I am a perfectionist. I am type A, but I tried really hard to like let go of at least some things. I didn't let go of some things, but I tried to let go of others. Like the day's going to come and go, and you're really only going to remember how you felt and the people that surrounded you. And it's kind of like college. Like you can go to more than one college and have a great education, or you don't. It's kind of what you put in, you get out. And I think it's the same thing with your wedding. Like we could have gotten married any of the venues that we looked at. But if you have the right attitude and you love your future husband or wife, you'll have a good day and you'll be happy with how everything wound up.
I love that advice so much because it's so true. I mean, I see so many different types of venues that I photograph, and everybody is so happy at every single one of the venues, no matter the vibes of the day or the amount of guests there. Like the fact that you're marrying the person you love, surrounded by the people you love, like that's key. And I feel like you did a really good job of being in the moment too. I remember showing up the morning of your wedding, and one of the first things he said to me was, "Guess what? I haven't even looked at the timeline yet today. Aren't you so proud of me?" I was like, "Yes! Oh my gosh!" Fully living in the moment.
I made such an aggressive timeline, didn't I?
But hey, like it worked. You know, like we had
Peace of mind.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's to make sure that you don't miss anything important. That's like
Right.
number one purpose of a timeline.
Right.
It's not to be like legalistic about getting to everything at the exact time you put down. It's just, okay, let's like not miss this. So we'll do it this time instead of that
Right.
time.
Right. And but you also are great. You are also great in the planning process of helping through that. Even if a bride isn't like me and comes with her own timeline, just part of being in the PR industry, you make sure that you have all the family photos that were requested, all of the, key photos, key places, like trinkets for details, etc. So
Yay, makes me happy. Woohoo! Well, thank you so much for chatting. I loved hearing all about your day and all the little fun details, like the priest relocating to the same venue, same church you're getting married at. So cool. It was lovely chatting with you.
thanks for having me, Gabriella.
That was such an awesome conversation. Alexa is a superstar, and I loved reliving her wedding day with her. I'm so incredibly happy that the private letter reading ended up being not only some of her favorite pictures from the day, but also one of her favorite moments. And the giant Airbnb with all of her friends sounded like a blast. It's such a cool idea, and I love that a lot. I hope you took something away from this episode. And if you haven't booked some of your vendors yet, or haven't booked all of your vendors yet, I hope you're reminded to go with your gut because this is a big decision, and I want you to feel super confident in who you decide to choose to run your wedding day. So, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate your time. Now, go hug your person, and I will see you next Wednesday.